Network. What was the name of this fictional character? Was it Leon Sandcastle, Orion Brickman, or Teddy Bridgewater? Share your answer using hashtag the NSLS for your chance to win a $250 Amazon gift card, and we will reveal the answer and the winner later in the broadcast. But right now, I'm pleased to introduce our guest for the evening, Dion, Coach Prime Sanders.
We don't want to let that engine that could get going, because if that engine that could get going, he's going to start saying, I think I can, I think I can. And sooner or later, he's going to start saying, I know I can, I know I can. Then sooner or later, he's going to start saying, I did that. See, my top plays happen at practice when no one was looking. My top plays happen in Fort Myers, Florida, when none of you knew anything about me. See, those are the plays you just caught on camera. Those weren't my top plays, because I practiced like I played. So when I played, it would be practice. Being a parent is coaching. You're coaching him through life.
I'm so thankful right now. My son, man. My son.
You got to understand, I expect great things. I expect to change the game. The light ain't on you, but keep making plays. Nobody's talking about you, but keep making plays. You're not on the leaderboard right now, but baby, keep making plays.
NSLS members tuning in from all over the world, please welcome Dion, Coach Prime Sanders. Hey, Coach.
How you doing, man? Thank you. I love your backdrop. I love what you did with the pillow over there, over your right shoulder. It looks good. It looks good. I like it.
Well, thank you very much. I'll tell my wife you said that, because it had nothing to do with me. So I will let her know. I appreciate it. So, Coach, it's really great to have you here. I'm one of those parents that you talk about in the book that's been a fan since, you first broke into the NFL. So it's great. It's a thrill to have you here. I'm excited that our members are going to get to learn from you today. So I read a lot of inspirational and motivational books as part of my job and my own personal enjoyment. And I'm not blowing smoke when I say this is now fast become one of my favorite books. And there are so many takeaways. I've been calling them primisms. But since we don't have enough time to cover all of them, I want to jump in and just talk about a handful that jumped out at me. So early on in the book, you say something about setting your own thermostat. So I think it's apropos that we start with that. What do you mean by setting your own thermostat, and how could our members use this in their lives?
I'm a firm believer of you can't allow anyone to turn you up, to turn you down, to turn you on, or to turn you off, or to get you hot or get you cold. You got to set your own thermostat. Whenever I walk into my meeting room with my young men, I'm setting the temperature. I'm setting that. I'm not going to allow them to frustrate me or infuriate me or something that's going to get me out of my comfort zone and out of character. So I think it's as apparent and important that you set your own thermostat. When you wake up in the morning, you have a routine. My routine, I like to come in my office and I pray and I read and I just glean something and I put out my morning text messages of inspiration. And that's my routine. You got to have a routine, something that gets you going, that gets you
solo, nigga,
that makes you want to go get it. So I firmly believe in set my own thermostat. And I'm saying either you're a believer or belief. You're a believer or belief. That's self-explanatory. And don't buy into false thoughts. I don't allow negativity to either enter my world, man. I'm too positive to allow negativity to have a voice, to have a microphone, to have a say in my day. And every day I have is a good day. I don't have bad days. I may have a bad moment, may even have a bad hour, but never a bad day, because I'm in control of that. And you're in control of that.
I love it. I know you also like to set the temperature in your car before you get out in there too, right? That's important.
Exactly. It's one of the first things.
I love it. All right, cool. Well, thank you very much for that. Something else you write in the book, you say, plan your time and time your plan. And I really love this. Could you tell our members what this means?
You pulling out some of the good stuff, man.
Well, good. Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I love that. And you talk about the power of visualization. Can you talk about those good things? Why is that power of visualization so imperative in achieving one's goals?
Well, if you can't see it, how can you believe it? If you can't fathom yourself winning at the end of the game, how can you do it? If you can't see yourself in a situation where they're counting on you and you must deliver, how can you deliver when they're counting on you? Like everything everything I've accomplished, I've seen it. I remember playing for the San Francisco 49ers in '94, getting ready to go play against my own team, the Atlanta Falcons. And I was on a plane, and I tapped the general manager. I said, you know what? I'm going to intercept the ball, man. I'm going to go down the sideline. I'm going to look at them. I'm going to look at them because I want them to see what they missed. And I saw it, and God just gave it to me, and it happened just like that. I mean, I've always been able to see it and visualize it, but always have the propensity to make it happen. It's one thing you can see it, you can believe it, but what are you doing about making it happen? So preparation and work and understanding of the challenge and the goal and the level and the depth of where you're trying to go, you got to see it to believe in that. And I've always seen it. That's why I always believe it. So when I'm saying I got to believe, which normally is on my shirts or somewhere around the complex with a young man, we truly believe. And I want them to feel it just like I feel it. They got to believe.
I love it. I love it. You mentioned Lindsey Vonn in the book too, and we had her as a guest. And you mentioned she visualizes herself going down that mountain before it happens, right? And it's very, very powerful. So thank you for sharing that with us. So John is a member at our University of Denver chapter, and he has our first video question, which is about confidence, and mentions a great quote of yours from the book. So let's take a look at that.
John C., University of Denver. And my question is for Dion, or Coach Time. Dion, you made a statement on confidence. Do not let my confidence. My question is for Dion, Coach Dion, you made a statement on confidence. Do not let my confidence offend your insecurity. When you manage difficult scenarios such as football, business, especially building a confident team and workplace, how does your confidence play a role in leading a team in the workplace to overcome difficult situations while educating them to maintain confidence?
First and foremost, the question I love that young man, he's on Facebook Live, and his swag. Confidence derives from a knowing or a security that's inside yourself that has a lot to do with preparation, work ethic, and the understanding of the task at hand. There's no way you could be confident if you don't work, or you could be confident in a test you're about to take and you didn't study. You can be confident in going out there and cover Jerry Rice and you didn't just watch film at the film. Like, confidence derives from straight out hard work, dedication, and determination. It's a certain thing as false confidence out there. So many people faking it. You know, we live in a world of fakeness. Everybody's trying to duplicate something, replicate something that ain't real or authentic. Confidence derives from a place of just knowing that you know and working your butt off. When I say I've always been a confident person, is because I've always worked my butt off. I've always been confident in the things that I know I have the gift in, and I've cultivated and I've worked and I've managed to perfect this gift, and I perfected it before I packaged it and put it out there for the world to see. That's why I'm confident. Some people could call it cockiness. Some people could call it arrogance. And that's when I say, don't let my confidence offend your insecurity. Because a person that's confident and he knows or she knows that they know what they know and they know how this outcome is going to turn, that's intimidating for the insecure. That's truly intimidating. And then they start ridiculing you and calling you names and labeling you and put you in boxes, and never let anybody put you in a place that wasn't designed to. I don't believe in that. I don't condone that. I don't prescribe to that. But I am confident. But it comes from a place that I've worked my butt off to get to that.
Yeah, outside you see the confidence, but there's a whole bunch of preparation behind it to get to that level of confidence. So you got to do the work. And you mentioned that also in the book. You got to do the work. All right. So NSLS members, here's your chance to win a copy of Coach Prime's new book, Elevate and Dominate, 21 Ways to Win On and Off the Field. Share your favorite quotes from tonight's broadcast using hashtag the NSLS, and we're going to pick 25 winners to win 3 copies of the book. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're going to give them away. So another part of your book that I really enjoyed, you talked about the importance of having a vision and the idea of identifying your rabbit if one really wants to achieve their success. Yeah,
Like
what do you mean by that?
Let me try that because I want to hit some points. That derives from Florida. You know, in the state of Florida, we have dog tracks. And in a dog track, you go in there and these beautiful dogs that are lean and they're beautiful dogs. And they have a muzzle on, and they put them in these chutes, and they go around the track. And around the inside of this track, there's a rabbit that they're trying to catch, that they're trying to chase. They never catch the rabbit. The rabbit is always just hard enough to keep them going, to keep them motivated, to keep their vision where it should be. And people battle on rabbits. I was too young when I used to stick in the dog track, but I used to position myself while I watched them, and I always found out that it was truly fascinating. And then I said, you know what? It's my rabbit. My mother was my rabbit. You know, my mother worked 2 jobs where we didn't see one another all day that never met. My mother never saw me play sports in the East, and I was considered the guy. Football, baseball, basketball, and as well as track somewhat. But she was my rabbit because I told her at 7 she would never have to work another day in her life, and I was going to be rich enough to make a lot of money. And that was the goal, that was the dream, that was the ambition, and that was my rabbit to this day. You know, 2024, my mother had worked since 88. She had worked since 88. But that's my rabbit, seeing her push that cart around Lee Memorial Hospital before my sport, that I never wanted to see her go back to work. So that was always the thing that dangled in front of me that I love to chase that pursuit. And we all got to have a rabbit. We all got to have something that gets us up and down the alarm clock. We all got to have something that motivates us and promotes all and change when we don't have a motivator. We all got to have a rabbit. So if you don't have a rabbit out there, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah.
You got to identify that thing that you're chasing, that you want, that you desire, that you're willing to sacrifice something to go get. You can have bad moments. I already said I don't have bad days. And the last point I make in this chapter is help someone else find their way. You got to help someone else find their way. So because when you're chasing, you want to get it like that, provokes you into the leadership position. And when you're in a position, because of the consistency that you possess, you got to reach back and help. And that's something that many people do, to reach back and help.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And for anyone concerned, it's a mechanical rabbit. It's not a real rabbit at the dog track. They're not chasing a real rabbit. So. just
Definitely not a real rabbit. Every point tonight knows about a rabbit.
Yeah, I just want to put that out there. All right, very cool. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate that. All right, so let's take a look at our next video question, and it's about overcoming challenges and hardships. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Michelle Benson from Bowie State University. My question is for coach and mentor Deion Sanders. Coach, can you share with us some strategies that you use to recover from challenges and hardship in order to remain a resilient and confident coach to others?
That's a great question. The thing that we all share, that we all have in common in life, and that we all are going through something. Just so happens some people go through and some people stop in the middle to enjoy the ignorance of the scenery. You got to keep going. You can't stop. I'm not a hunter, or I won't kill because it's not in my DNA. So I don't go deer hunting and shoot anything like that. But I know people who do, and I'm very curious about everything in life because it's always a story involved. So I asked them, what's the best way that you're hunting with a deer? They say we position ourselves and we wait till they come and they're feeding or they're doing something. And I said, so they're still? I said, yeah, they're still. We got to keep it moving. We got to keep it going. because the enemy attacks us because oftentimes trials and tribulations or trouble provokes us to be still. But we don't need that. We got to keep going. You know, it's when you're going through it with your wife or with your husband or with your boyfriend or girlfriend, whoever it is out there, you have the propensity to slow down and just digress instead of keep moving because you still have responsibility. You got to keep moving. And another thing, I have a point right here. Oftentimes, we lose focus by challenging ourselves to another thing. We lose focus to the main thing. Keep the main thing the main thing. If you don't keep the main thing, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be drama. It's going to be inconsistency and so forth. But you got to keep the main thing. And oftentimes that just means simplify everything. We make things so tough. And we don't even communicate. The communication is one of the key things, or keeping the main thing. So communicate. Whenever we're attacked, the enemy's desire is to break down our communication. Whenever a husband and wife, whatever it is, boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever I say, coach, player, you stop talking. The enemy wins because there's no communication. With communication, there's not going to be any solvents. Communicate. Keep the main thing. I love that question. Great question.
Well, that's great. And I'm glad you brought that up because that was a good quote. I didn't write it as a question for you, but I'm glad you touched on it. Keep the main thing. And we have a question about communication later that we'll come to because I know that's a point you stressed also. So let's talk about the 3 W's because you write that this is the formula one should follow to achieve almost anything. What are the 3 W's and how can we use them?
The 3 W's are want, work, and win. Let me cleanse that. You got to want it and work it for you to be in a position for you to win. You don't want it, and then you're not willing to make a sacrifice and work for it. How are you going to be in a position to win? It's not that we even in this game called football, looking at a beautiful field in our stadium right here. We could be in position. We can work out. We got to work our butts and want that victory enough that we got to go get it. We got to work it. Then that may put us in positions to score at the conclusion of that, or to score at the conclusion of the game. Now we can possibly win it. As well as we talked about visualization earlier. And I got a point here to say, if you don't want to work, you don't want to make it in life. The Bible talks about the sluggard. I don't understand a person that has dreams and desires and ambitions, wonderful thoughts, but you don't want to work. You don't want to work. Everybody that is somewhat successful, they had to work, man. Not only they had to work, they had to identify that thing that was getting in between them and their dream and their goal. And there's always something. There's always going to be something to distract you, something to disarm you or disable you, something to get your vision impaired. And you got to work it, but you got to focus as well, man. So that's the 3 W's: want it, work, and ultimately win. And don't take shortcuts to anything. It ain't no easy way to do something tremendous or spectacular. It ain't no shortcuts. You got to go the long way on this, and you got to want it.
Yep. I'm glad our members are hearing you say that. There are no shortcuts. You got to put in that work. It goes back to the confidence that you were talking about earlier. You know, you seem confident. It's because you're prepared. You put in that work. You know, it all dovetails into the same thing. Yeah. So thank you so much for that. So let's take a look at our final member video question of the evening, and it's from Ava Rhodes. Ava.
Hi, my name is Ava Rhodes, and I'm a student at St. Francis University, and I have a question for Deion Sanders. So right now in college, I'm trying to figure out where I belong, where I fit in, and if I'm on the right path in life. And I was wondering if there's a moment in time where you knew exactly that you were on the right path and you're exactly where you're supposed to be in life, and how exactly did you know? Thank you.
I like that. That's tremendous. I'm looking at chapter 7 right here. It says, know who you are and who's on your team. Don't go hide behind a costume or a false front. You got to be you and consistent with that. You got to understand that we know or we come across that you're the tree. What I mean by that, it's if they're in a costume, it's not even Halloween. They're not who they say they are. They've just kind of distorted in who they really desire to be. They don't really have focus, dreams, goals, and ambitions. They're not even probably working or going to school in the field that they truly desire, and they're lost. And that's one of the main things that's troubling us as a country. We have so many people that are lost. And the people that aren't, the people that are lost are criticizing them just because they understand their own navigation system. But you got to know who you are, what you are, how you are, where you want. You got to know how to get there. I mean, you got to know who's on your team. You got to know who's on your team. Unlike sports, when you assume a team, everybody's in the same uniform. In life, everyone don't wear the same uniform. And it's really, truly hard to distinguish who's on your team. They can call themselves a friend, but are they really on your team? They can call themselves a family member, but are they really on your team? You could be laying right beside that person on a nightly basis, but are they really on your team? You got to really understand that and define that who's on your team. And then you got to don't do anything alone. Build a good network of your people. I've done some wonderful things in life, singularly, I feel, but my greatest accomplishments have been with a team, with a group of people that I love, that I confide in, that was there, was strong where I'm weak, and I'm strong when they're weak. And it's like an attractability. If you want to know who you really are, it has a lot to do with who you attract. Look at what you attract, and you'll find out who you are. But know who you are and know who's on your team.
I like that a lot. I mentioned before we went on the air that we had Arnold Schwarzenegger join us a couple of months ago, and he hates when people call him a self-made man, because no one's a self-made man. It's about the team, and you were talking about who you surround yourself with that can lift you up, that can help you get where you're going. So thank you for sharing that. It's super important. All right, Coach, we have 2 more questions for you this evening, but before we get to it, NSLS members, here's your final chance to win a copy of Coach Prime's new book, Elevate and Dominate. Share your favorite quote from tonight's broadcast using hashtag the NSLS, and we will pick 25 members to win 3 copies of the book. All right,
Awesome.
Coach. We touched on this earlier, but we ask a lot of our guests their opinion on the most important quality or skill a leader should possess. And you write in your book that it's communication, and we spoke about it earlier. Why do you believe that to be true? And do you have any advice for when they can up their communication game?
Let me find my communication chapter. You know what? It's so funny because all these chapters deal with communication. It's no way that you could be successful, to me, without the gift of communicating. Some of us have a tremendous gift to reach and teach and touch and inspire and encourage other people. That's a tremendous gift of communication. But do you have the propensity to someone to reach you and to touch you? Because oftentimes when you're giving, you're empty, but you need someone to communicate into you. That's why, like on my desk, I see several books from John Maxwell, one of my favorite authors and a great friend. And it seems like his books just speak. They speak to me. They shout out my name. It's like he communicates with me through audio or through just the written form of it. But communication is one of the most valuable assets that we could have. There's biblical stories to really understand that as well. The Tower of Babel, when God just confused the languages, and when people couldn't communicate, they couldn't build no longer. So if you can't communicate, the moral of that to me is that if you can't communicate, how could you build? If you can't communicate, how could you love? If you don't communicate, how could you help? How could you assist? How can you be there for one another if there's no communication? And that's the one main goal of the enemy, to break down communication. The first thing we do is stop talking, stop communicating. And we feel a certain way. We feel, oh, you don't care for us no more. He's not communicating. You don't like us anymore because he's not communicating. And I try to make it a point that's passed by some of my team members on scholarship as well as walk-ons, and just look at them and say hi. Because it's amazing what an ounce of communication can do for us sometimes.
I agree. Yeah, and I enjoyed reading in the book how you have an open door policy, and you do talk to everyone, whether they're the stars of the team or you're saying walk-ons. You have this open door, and I think that's super important as a leader to always be approachable, and they know that if they come to you, you're going to give them the time that they need. So
They're going to get the truth. They're going to get the truth. There's one thing we don't do. We always in a feel-good society where we want everybody to feel good. No. We should be in a society where we want everybody to understand the truth.
I agree with you. Thank you. All right, we have one final question for you tonight, Coach. Why do you believe it's important for students to develop their leadership skills at organizations like the NSLS or other groups where they're identifying their passions and building skills to become a better leader?
I think it's apparent that we must all learn those skills. This is the inconsistency that people confuse. Just because you have the most, that doesn't mean you're a leader. Just because you're walking in the front, that does not mean you're a leader. Just because you're the loudest, the smartest, most intelligent, most relevant at the time, that does not mean you are a leader. A leader don't have to be boastful. A leader can lead from the middle of the pack. A leader can lead from the back of the classroom. A leader can lead from the head of the line as well as be the most silent person, but he may lead or she may lead from their actions. A leader is not that person that's oftentimes selected. It's that person that oftentimes it's not corrected as well, but that person that it's something about them. It's something that has an attraction about themselves that you just want more. Like they have a calmness and a peace about themselves. And if all hell loose, you want to look to them first. That's a leader. But oftentimes in society, we think just because that person has more, does more, in front, loudest, flashier, I want that they're a leader. And oftentimes that's not the case. So no matter where you're positioned right now, you can lead. No matter how recluse you are, you can still lead in some form or fashion. No matter how subtle you are or docile, you can still lead. You don't have to be the most sexy or the most beautiful person in that group, but you still can be a leader. And if it's your calling to be that, I need you to accept it. Because if you don't accept it, then always keep bringing it in your spirit until you walk into the promise of who you were called to be.
That's great. Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you. This was amazing. Yeah, this was amazing. I truly had a blast. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had some fun doing it as well.
Definitely did. And tell the wife that gold lamp in the back is popping. I like what she did with that.
I certainly will. Thank you very much. All right, NSLS members, I'd like to thank you for watching this evening and throughout the entire spring season. I want to thank our other guests, Cameron Hall and Jonah Berger. But before we go, I want to say thanks one more time to Coach Prime, Mr. Deion Sanders. Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it. God bless you. Take care.
it's very difficult to pay at university if you don't have.
There's nothing better than learning experience and make success more likely.
Listen, has a tendency to think the person who's speaking all the time, who's making the speeches, who's kind of hogging the spotlight, that automatically is the leader. And that may not be the case.
This is the NSLS National Speaker Broadcast with Judge Frank Caprio. Here's your host, Devin Lasker.
Hello, NSLS members. I'm Devin Lasker, and I'm excited to be with you for the second broadcast of the spring season. Now, in case you don't know, your NSLS membership gives you access to our vast network of partner benefits and discounts, and I'd like to remind you of two of them right now. We partnered with BetterHelp, the world's largest therapy service, providing professional, affordable, and personalized therapy in convenient online form. Please visit betterhelp.com/NSLS or scan this QR code to take advantage of the special discount only available to you as an NSLS member. I'm also excited to announce our brand new partnership with Farmers Insurance, where NSLS members can save on auto, home, and renters insurance from carriers such as Farmers, Nationwide, and Progressive. Visit farmersinsurancechoice.com/NSLS and scan this QR code to get your quotes today. If you prefer, you can also dial the on the screen and give the agent our exclusive discount code FS7. All right. Guest for the evening, I want to know where you're watching. Please share a photo or video of you watching the broadcast and include your name, school, and hashtag the NSLS, and we'll pick 3 members with $50 Amazon gift. Right now, our guest for the evening, Judge Frank. Watching tonight know you as Judge Frank Caprio, America's nicest judge. But I want to take you back before you were on the bench, specifically back to your high school days when you worked at a local restaurant as a dishwasher or your other job shining shoes to pay for college. What would you tell the students watching tonight about the power of hard work and believing in their potential?
I would tell them to set their goal and don't ever deviate from it, because the easy, and it's a shame so many people with so much ability, just don't have that desire and inner desire
Okay.
to stick with a program. And so we lose so many qualified people because they quit. So my advice is don't ever quit. Whatever your goal is, set your sights on it and stick with it. There's going to be uphill battles and so forth, but just don't ever quit.
That's great advice. It reminds me of this picture that I've seen, and maybe you've seen it before. It's a diamond miner, and he is in a mine, and he's picking at the wall, and at one point he just turns away and walks away. But right behind, if he just went a little bit more, there are all these diamonds right behind that wall. So that's exactly like what you're saying. You never know how close you are, so stick with it. So thank you very much for that.
Right.
That's great. So I'd like to talk about two qualities that you're known for, which are compassion and empathy. And you've noted that while they're connected, they're not the same. So could you share what each of them means to you? And then I'd love for you to recount the story of discovering your mother in tears over Father Flanagan of Boys Town, a moment that you said profoundly shaped your understanding of empathy.
I was just a young boy. I probably was 10, 12 years old. And I came home and my mom was in tears. And I said, Mom, what's wrong? And she showed me a picture of Father Flanagan's Boys Town. And it's a young boy who's carrying his brother on his back. And Father Flanagan, and he's at the doorway of Father Flanagan. And he is saying to Father Flanagan, he's not heavy, he's my brother. And my mom was in tears. And we didn't have any money, but the first thing she did was she went and made a donation to Father Flanagan of Boys Town. But that has such a profound impact on her and, by extension, on me. Here's my mom just looking at a photo, and it was so graphic, and he ain't heavy, how father, he's my brother. And that just speaks volumes, obviously. And it just impacted me at an early age, both compassion and empathy for others.
Yeah, it's it must be very hard to watch your mom crying at such a young age. So I can see how that stayed with you and had such an impact on your life. It would, I think, to everybody watching tonight. So thanks for that answer. I'd love to talk about your new book. It's called Compassion in the Court, and I really enjoyed it. It's very well done, and I especially like how you ended many of the chapters with a lesson or a key takeaway for the reader. It's very sage advice indeed. So to kick off that conversation, we have a video question from one of our members that speaks to a major theme of your book. So let's take a look at that.
Hi, my name is Marissa Tarika, and I'm a political science student on the pre-law track at Bucknell University. When watching videos of Judge Caprio's courtroom proceedings, I admired how he handled cases with empathy, having a genuine compassion for people whose cases he presides over. My question for Judge Caprio is, what shaped your outlook on the importance of handling cases with compassion when other judges have different perspectives? Thank you.
Well, we can't control what other judges do. So what we can do is do what we think is right. And I always march to the tune of my own drummer. So every case is different. Passion, empathy, they're almost intertwined. Some of the cases are so compelling that they scream passion. They scream understanding. And I
Yeah, that's powerful in that not every situation is the same. And if you encounter someone, you have to understand everything that's going on in their lives. You make a snap judgment. Or in your case, a real judgment that might affect their lives.
Last week, she had a fight with her mother. I had no idea what the circumstances were. They were just traffic fines. And all of a sudden, in the middle of it, her explanation of why she got tickets. She started to cry, and she said, only if I was there, it never would have happened. And I said, bro, I wanted to find out what she was talking about. And she said, if I was there, it never would have happened, never would have done it. And I said, explain what you're talking about. And her brother killed her son. They had a family argument. And because of that, she became so preoccupied that she wasn't paying attention to a whole bunch of other things. And so you never really know what's going through someone else's mind. So in a situation like that, what do you do? I mean, is it compassion? You have compassion, you have understanding, you take all that into consideration, or you say, wait a minute, one has nothing to do with the other, you know, because you were there or you wasn't there, that's no bearing on this. Well, in my world, it does have a bearing on it. I've always taken external factors into consideration in disposing of a case.
Wow. And I think if more people, did what you did in their everyday life, it would be a much better world. So thank you for sharing that story. I appreciate that. Early in your book, you talk about your father, Antonio. Tough talk. And it's a funny story how he tough and toffee. And it's funny how he got that nickname. I'm not going to spoil it for everybody. They need to read the book. But during the Great Depression, your father delivered milk and eggs and other items to local families. When the company ordered him to cut off deliveries to those who couldn't pay, he made a very bold decision. Could you share what he did and how it influenced both the company's policy and your own approach to justice?
If the customer had children, my dad, under no circumstances, would stop the bill, even though he was ordered to. So if they don't pay, you stop the bill because they don't pay for 2 weeks. So in almost all cases, he would, from his own pocket, he'd pay $1, or maybe back in those days, that was a lot of money, or 50 cents toward the bill, and tell the company that they were making an effort to pay, and he wouldn't stop the bill. But if they had children, under no circumstances would he stop the bill. I can remember it, because I was like 10, 12 years old at the time, working on the truck at 4 o'clock. And he'd be telling his supervisor, they have kids, I can't stop the bill. I'm not going to do it. And he placed his job in jeopardy. And he became very well respected. As a result, the company did adopt a new policy that if they were making reasonable efforts to pay, whatever that meant, reasonable efforts to pay. So if they pay 50 cents, $1, $1.50, whatever the case might be, then the salesman or the milk delivery man did not have to stop the milk.
That's fantastic. And, it's such a great story, and it's not only for the lesson in compassion, but it's important for our members to hear that no matter what their position in the organization might be, they have the power to enact change. They shouldn't be afraid to speak up. Thank you so much for sharing that.
My dad placed his job in jeopardy. We had 2 sons, my older brother and my son. And the milk salesman believed that my dad actually defied the company and refused to stop the milk if they had kids. And he was able to get them to change their policy. So, it's a story. Testament to the courage that and the empathy and love that father had for the youngsters.
Yeah, it truly shows the character of your dad, and it's not surprising that you are the way you are. So thanks for sharing that. So you also write about being accepted to Boston University Law School, but not being able to afford it. So it prompted you to make a decision to become a teacher, to earn enough money to attend Suffolk Law School at night. I'd love for you to tell the story of one of your students. His name was Robert, and the lesson you want everyone to take from it, because I think it's a really powerful one, especially these days.
I remember Robert. He sat in the front row, and he was the most agreeable youngster. Didn't cause anyone an issue, no problems, except that he flunked every test. And I kept talking to him, saying, you have to make an effort. And he still didn't pass. So I made a deal with him that I would pass him to write an essay on the state of my canal. I don't care if you go to the Encyclopedia Britannica or and you copy it, but I want you to make an effort and turn the paper in at least 1,000 words on the building of the Panama Canal. And I said, if you do that, then I will pass you. Now, he was a senior, so if he didn't pass my history class, he would not graduate, and that was the big deal. So it was, either pass or you don't graduate. So I gave him until a certain date, and he did not provide the information. And I pleaded with him. I said, what is it? He says, I have enough time. So I went down and I fought. I hated to do it, but I turned this grade in before the end of the semester. A short period of time thereafter, one of the teachers mentioned to me that he came from a large family and that he was working overnight at a hotel and washing dishes at one of the major hotels in Providence. And it just so happened that I happened to have a function at that hotel during this period of time. And I had to work in the church, very close to the kitchen, working until midnight. Came from a large family and was helping support his family. So I get, and he was very agreeable. And I explained to him, that he had to do something to make it pass. And we made a recommendation so that I could pass it and he could graduate. The choice was, my choice was I could fuck him. He wouldn't graduate. He'd have to come back to school or go through life or a high school degree and maybe affect his future. So we worked out an accommodation and I passed him using
That's a story that's impacted me. And again, it ties back to something we were talking about earlier. You never know what's going on in someone else's life, right? And the fact that it was destiny that you were at that function that night and you saw him and if you need help, he didn't have the courage to come and ask you. You would have done that. You would have gladly given him help. So the message that I really want everybody to hear is it's not a bad thing to ask. If you're in need, people do want to help you. Don't suffer in silence, as they say. That's again a great story.
That's a very good point. It's very great. It's always those that really need help that don't ask for it. And with my experience, that those that need help are always asking for it.
Yes, that's true. Well, now I want to talk to you about the impact networking and relationship building has on one's career success. To me, there are very few things that make a greater impact. Can you talk about Joseph Paolino and how this relationship, built over years, led you to be appointed to the judgeship?
Joseph Paolino came from a very prominent family in the Providence area. He had an uncle that was on the Supreme Court of our state, and they were very well respected. And I knew Joe when he was growing up. He was younger than I am. And he decided to run for the city council in the area where I lived. And I helped him in his campaign, running for the city council. And he was successful, and he was a very rigorous campaign. And as a result of that, he became president of the city council, and subsequent to that, became mayor. And I helped him in all of those endeavors. And so we just forged a very close relationship. And during his term as mayor, vacancy. And it was Joe's help and recommendation, full support, that I was able to be appointed as his judge. So my early efforts in helping Joe when he was a youngster reaped benefits for me subsequently, but he's a dear friend to this day. Comes from a wonderful family, great background, and is doing quite well.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, really good.
I can't thank him enough.
I bet. Well, I mean, that's the thing about building genuine relationships, right? If you don't go in it for what's in it for me, right? You go in it and you have a relationship and you help people, and then when you do that, more often than not, down the line, it comes back to benefit you somehow. So that's a beautiful case study right there.
Actually, in this case, I received a call out of the blue. He called me when he was mayor and said, "We have a vacancy on the court. I recommend you." And I wasn't even pursuing it, so it was because of his influence. I was out of Metro for a long time. And hopefully, I've exceeded his expectations.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. I'm pretty sure you did. All right, NFLS members, here's your chance to win a copy of Judge Caprio's new book, Passion in the Court. Remember to share your favorite quote from tonight's broadcast, and we'll pick 20 members to win 3 copies of the book. All right, Judge Caprio, let's talk about the role of passion played in your rise to becoming a household name. And it's really a story that weaves together passions of two people. First, your passion for law, which led you to a career as a lawyer and later a judge. Then your brother Joe's passion for videography and digital technology. Of course, your brain behind all of it. Your wife Joyce connected the dots and suggested that Joe film. She suggested that Joe film your book. How important do you think it is for someone to pursue their passion?
You know, not only do I think it's important to pursue it, never to give up. My brother Joe, for example, is an example of that. You know, he had this passion for videography, and he sort of suppressed it for a long time, and then finally he was able to get a little crack in the armor, and he was able to get some gigs. And then finally he was able to get the camera work, get all the video that he needed to pursue his dream, and he just didn't have an outlet. And that was when my wife suggested that he film my court program. And I said, no, I don't want him in the courtroom. and of course, I had him for an argument. I went up to that time, and I still have it. So you know. And
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Yeah.
You know the feeling. So the rest is history. You know, it was enormously successful. We started off, you know, with the only. Started off just with local TV. And we went from there to national television. We were the only ones to do it at that time. So the rest is history. What's happened. Joe did a great job. He had a great sense of people. And things are still going great.
It's a great story, and it goes back to something we discussed earlier, which is never give up. You never know how close you are, and it's fantastic that Mike had that idea. You wouldn't be sitting here if he hadn't, and wouldn't be learning all they are by having you here, and all the lives you protected. People would not have seen that and seen how compassionate a world can be. So thank you for sharing that. So, Your Honor, we're going to switch it up a little bit and play a game. Now, we usually don't repeat games here, but we played this game with Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson a few months ago, and it went so well that we thought it was perfect for you too. So, I'm sure you know the saying, wheels of justice turn slowly. But today, we're going to get to the verdict very quickly when we play a game called Rapid Rulings with Judge Frank Capra. All right. So here's how the game works. It's a lightning round. I'm going to give you a short question, and you need to give me a quick answer. And the goal is that by the end of the round, myself and all the members watching tonight will know the box. What do you think? Sure. All right. First question. Are the All right, good choice. All right. As a die-hard Red Sox fan, is Aaron Judge here to show him from the book out?
All depends on the Red Sox in the first place. Thanks, Joe. Night two would be nice. Night two would be nice.
Very good. Are you an early bird or a night owl? All right. What book has influenced you the most?
That's a good question. I'm having trouble making a decision on that.
You can give me a couple.
One that really was perseverance was the bridge. Building of the Washington Bridge. I go with the next one. Had so many different elements about
That's great. I'll check it out. Not too far from George Washington Bridge, so that'll be an interesting read.
I'll warn you, once you start, you'll be able to
That's cool. Those are the best books. Like this book. I swear to God, I loved it. I read this book in one sitting. I was that anyway. That was awesome. We didn't even set that up. All right. Next question. Best shape for a meatball, round or oval?
Oh, definitely oval. Definitely oval.
I knew you were going to say that. All right. One piece of advice you would give to your younger self.
My younger self?
Yes.
Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up.
I agree. All right, next question. We have a few more. Who has the best chocolate cream pie in Rhode Island?
The restaurant, there's a bakery called Shallow's Bakery. Shallow's Bakery. It's in the Federal Hills section of Providence, and they have the best pie.
All right.
It's delicious. Trust me.
I love it. All right. How's about this one? What's one song that always makes you happy?
Oh, happy birthday.
That's a good one. I like that. I wasn't expecting that. That's great. All right. And our last question. Besides compassion and empathy, what is one other quality you believe all good leaders should possess?
Honesty.
Perfect.
Integrity,
Perfect.
honesty.
That's a great answer. Well, thank you, Your Honor. It was awesome. I hope you had fun playing Rapid Rulings with Judge Frank Caprio.
I enjoyed it. Thanks.
All right, Your Honor. In your experience, what life skills or habits have contributed most to your success, not just in law, but in leadership and personal growth?
Honesty. Being honest.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way around that, right? I mean, it's what all relationships are built upon, whether it's personal relationships or business relationships or anything like that. You know,
Self-destruction is based upon our word. So, whether it's in business, is not good. Then our reputation crumbles, and it's very difficult to go on and be successful, I think. So I think that integrity, honesty are the hallmarks of a person's reputation.
yeah, I agree. A handshake is a handshake, and everyone should honor that. So, Judge Caprio, we have. For our final video question of the evening. So let's take a look at it.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi, my name is Rachel Stevens, and
What's up, little bro?
Discussion doesn't mean you can't be involved. We want to hear your thoughts. Tweet us your favorite quote from today's rebroadcast using hashtag the NSLS for your chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card.
But just know that failure will come. It's a learning experience if handled properly.
The Spring Scholarships and Awards window is still open now through March 21st. So now is the time to apply for the over $400,000 in scholarships available to you as an NSLS member. Please visit the Scholars app, create a free account, and apply for as many NSLS scholarships as you would like between now and March 21st. And as you know, your membership gives you access to a vast network of partner benefits and discounts. The latest partnership with BetterHelp is included in it as well. They are the world's largest therapy service, providing professional, affordable, and personalized therapy in a convenient online format. Please visit BetterHelp.com/NSLS or scan this QR code to take advantage of the special discount only available to you as an NSLS.
and go to do something else for a little while and get excited about that really allowed me to keep going with both, when if I had just had one, it might have been a different story. So I always like to keep several professional projects in the air, and then I also like to engage in hobbies that have nothing to do with anything I'm doing professionally.
Where were you, Joseph? Where? Where were you? What? Why? Why were you at that old hag's house? Why were you at that old hag's house? Because I want to. He's home, but he's eating. He was on. He was on the whole day. Yes, he was, dumbass. Yes, he was. I was. You just weren't on. I was playing Madden. That's why. What? Fuck the NBA. Basketball is for gay people. You like? Do you like basketball, Joseph? Joseph, do you like basketball? You're gay. Only sissy pussies play that. Bro, there's just a fucking box. Joseph, what the We haven't killed him. So trash. You got him? Jesus Christ. Why? Why were you at your grandma's house? Why? You went after school? Why? You with who? By yourself? Why? What the hell did you do? So you just wasted your time. He said, fuck you, Joseph. That's what he said, right? He said, go fuck yourself, Joseph. Joseph, be careful. Be careful. There's people. Wait. I know there's someone outside waiting to dirt party us. Jesus, bro. Is it real people? Like, I fucking hate this shit, bro. Joseph, watch out! So fucking garbage, Joseph. Look at this pussy. I'm talking about this guy. You're so garbage, Joseph. Why the hell do you always land there? Yes. I don't know. Yesterday, I didn't have school. No, dumbass, it was Sunday. Jesus. Piss me off, Joseph. Piss me off. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay, I don't care. Do it right now. I don't care. What do you do? Damn, your dad's yelling at your brother? That's crazy. Yeah, watch you get killed. That's why we always die, because you want to go somewhere else. Watch you get killed, and you're going to be like, help me, and I can't help because I'm not even next to you. Well, land there. Land there if you want. See what happens. Damn, bro. Tell your dad to watch his language. Jesus. What do you do to piss your dad off, Joseph? Like, Jesus. And did you misbehave at your grandma's house? Joseph. Jesus Christ. Do you see? What did I say? So garbage. That's why we need to stick together. Joseph, if you don't land with me, I'm gonna get off. If we die, Joseph, I'm gonna rape you. I was joking. Joseph, why can't I hear it? Okay. Nah, Joseph, you're quiet as hell. I know your mic is going to be it. You're so garbage. So garbage. Where is this punk? How did you fall? How did you get knocked down? Oh! Oh! Did you see that, bro? I almost missed. Joseph, if you don't talk, I'm gonna get off. Joseph. Joseph, there's people here. That was fun. Joseph, what the hell are you doing? It died. So how the hell are you still playing? Nah, Joseph, don't get them. I don't know. What? What? I'm gonna get off after this match because my controller's about to die too. Because my controller's gonna die, dumbass. Now your controller died. Your controller's died. You better talk fast. You hear my voice on the TV? Damn, Joseph. Damn it. That's L man's. You're leaving me by myself in a duo match. Like, wow, that's some L man's. Can't even. Did you already leave? Bye, Joseph. Oh sh. You're trash.